Hi, this is Rainbow Harmony here to help you find balance and peace to live a more colorful life. And welcome back to my channel. In today's reading, we're going to be covering messages for 2020. You guys voted recently and I took a poll and so many of you guys wanted to see like a 2020 wrap-up reading. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to wrap up 2020, get some messages from your guides, higher self, the universe, whatever the tarot wants you to know, whatever message is meant to find you at this time to wrap up 2020. So first, I'm actually going to pull some cards myself and kind of just sound off a little bit on 2020, tell you guys kind of how I'm feeling about it, and pull some cards for that as well. But if you want to skip forward to your part in the reading, then see the timestamps below. I also wanted to announce that I am having a 10% off sale to celebrate the end of 2020. I think that this cause is a huge cause for celebration, you guys, making it through 2020. And so I wanted to offer you guys a discount on my readings. If any of you guys are interested in receiving life coaching, this 10% off sale also applies to that. And I have love readings available, and you can ask pretty much any question you want. If you want to live chat with me, I've got that option as well. So check it out in the comments below. Enter in the code Harmony10 at checkout. And I just want to say thank you guys so much for supporting me this year. You guys supporting me helped me to support you, and I don't know how I would have made it through this year without you guys. Like having this channel, having you guys to talk to, being able to share the gift of tarot with you all has just been an absolute pleasure. So from the bottom of my heart, I just want to say thank you guys so much for your support. So let's get into this reading. I've got my monster of a deck here, and there's actually still cards over here that I just sorted out from it because they're more love related. But I'm so excited to pull from this deck. This is one of my first readings. I think actually my second reading on the channel with this new deck that I made. So let's see, what do our guides, angels, spirit guides want us to know about 2020? What did we learn this year? What do we need to take away? The main message for this year. And I'm also asking that this message relates personally to me and to anyone else who's like in my soul family, all you guys who are watching. Now it's a newer deck, so the cards are so smooth, it takes a little bit longer to draw them. Okay, I'm getting the message that there's just a couple more cards that want to come out. Okay, there we go. All right. Oh my gosh, look at this first card, you guys. Boundaries. Ooh. This is a spicy message. Oh my gosh, I'm already getting so many downloads just seeing these cards. What? Okay. So let's just start at the beginning. Boundaries. It's kind of funny because boundaries are quite literally, you know, being inside, like inside a box, like what separates you from the outside world. And so I think it's kind of ironic we're getting this boundaries card. It's definitely a message about these lockdowns that we all experienced, about having to stay inside, about having to literally be inside a box. It reminds me of in the Wildwood Tarot, that card I always draw with the bear that's like pointing to the cave. It's like, get in the cave. It's time to go into solitude. It's time to go into silence. It's time to go within. So many of us, obviously we were resentful at this. It felt like our freedom was being taken away, and it kind of was. And it was so frustrating to have to just be indoors, be inside, and, you know, live in all this uncertainty. And I think what's really fascinating about it is that when your routine is stripped from you, when your daily life is stripped from you, and when you literally have no choice but to just go within, and I'm talking metaphorically, like go within yourself. When you come to stillness, silence, solitude, you start realizing all the things that you've been pushing down inside of you, all the things that you have been holding back maybe some deep emotions, some traumas, you really start to think about your life. And it's so interesting from talking to so many of you guys in personal readings, even just talking to my friends, people that are close to me. I realized all of us this year really were able to look back and kind of review our life. We were able to see where we are right now based off of where we've come from, and it was a really great time to be able to reassess, is this the life that I really want for myself? A lot of us were faced with the fact that the life that we're living is our own creation. So it was kind of like a pause to sit and think, am I on the right path? Is this what I really want? And here, this card here is also boundaries. Some of us are realizing that we had toxic habits and thoughts and maybe even people around us that just needed to go. I know so many people went through breakups this year, divorces this year, kind of fell out with friends or got laid off their job or quit their job, and in a strange way, it ended up being for their highest good. So anything that's fallen out of your life right now, just know that space is being cleared for something beautiful and even better, maybe what you've been trying to manifest. But I love this resentful card. This is definitely how so many of us felt. I mean, how many of you guys had a breakdown during the lockdown, in tears or frustration or anger? So many of us learned to speak our truth this year. It was really cool going on social media at times and seeing people standing up for what they believed in and demanding their rights and speaking out on different issues. I think a lot of people had time to really be within and see what was happening in this world and what we needed to change. And so many people were able to speak their truth this year. I love that, a lot of throat chakra clearing this year. And then nearby friendship. I wonder how many of you guys actually got closer to some of your friends or the people in your life as a result of being apart from them. I stayed in touch. I've been out here traveling for years, and I did lose touch with some people, but I actually got back in touch with so many people this year, and we're able to Zoom or Skype and chat with some of my old friends, and that was so nice for me, actually being able to feel closer with people, ironically, even though there's this separation and social distancing going on. So friendship is always nearby. Also, you're never alone. The universe always sends someone. How many of you guys made friends online this year? Or found a community that you felt like you could really be seen in or heard in? I remember at the beginning of the lockdown, I was playing this game. I forgot what it's called, but it's one of those card games where you choose the funniest phrase, and whoever you all get a turn to vote. It's kind of like Apples to Apples or something, but it's on an app. And you can chat with people in it. And I found this group of people, we kept playing games over and over again, and we all chatted, we got to know each other, we talked about how we were doing during the lockdown. One of them was a teacher, another one was a lawyer, another one was an entrepreneur. I made this group of friends, and we played all these games together, and it was just wild. And so you're never alone. The universe always sends someone. How many of you guys made friends kind of randomly? Maybe some of you guys came here to my channel and met the Rainbow Fam and were able to feel connected and following these readings, and who knows, maybe you guys found a cool community online. But friendship is always nearby. They can take away our ability to go out and hug people and touch people. They can tell us we have to lock down and stay inside, but they can never take away our love and our friendship and our ability to connect with others. It's just something that they can never take away from us. So the next message is trust nature. How many of you guys realize how important nature is? Wow. I feel so bad for some of you guys who were, locked down in the middle of a big city, and all you could do is go to the grocery store. Maybe your little plant became your best friend. Finding creative ways to get nature during this time must have been so interesting, having to maybe take a bath or a shower or touch the water. Did you cry the first time you could put your feet in the dirt again and be outside? We're realizing that nature is super important. That's what got me through this time. Luckily, I was able to go on walks in the country nearby. There was no one around when I was in the major part of the lockdown, but So many of you guys might be realizing, having that taken away from you for a little while, just how important nature is in your life, just how important the elements are for you. Like, that's where you find your power. That's where you're supported. That's where you're celebrated. That's where you gain your strength. So nature is extremely important. We can trust nature, you know? A lot of us learned how to receive during this time. Some of you guys maybe financially didn't know where your rent was going to come from or what was going to happen. Maybe you were able to receive help or assistance, or you had some creative ideas that came about during this time to help you receive. And so you're learning that you can generate abundance based off your energy and based off your ability to shine and connect and put your ideas out there and be creative. This new world we're living in now, like, there's this message that 2020 has actually prepared us for possibilities, for new possibilities, because the old paradigm and the old structure of the system is clearly falling apart right now. And maybe you even realize that you have some hidden talents. I love watching videos of people who got creative during the lockdown and they found different things that they could do. I actually got into beading necklaces. I never knew I had that talent. And I love it now. Who knows, maybe it's something I'll sell in the future, or maybe it's just something I'll do for fun and for my friends, but I'm glad I found that talent. Like, comment below if you found a talent during 2020 that you never knew you had. Like, I think it's so cool. I had a friend who started taking vocal classes online. She found an online vocal teacher, and that's something she never would have done if it wasn't for the lockdown. She just really wanted to do something artistic. She never thought, maybe I can do vocal lessons through Zoom. And I was so happy for her. So what talents did you realize you have? Because when you're stuck inside and you're kind of in your little room and there's like nothing to do, you get creative and your natural creativity comes out. Your talents want to shine. And so 2020 has actually been helpful to us. I know that's really hard to hear. It's been horrible to us as well, but in a weird way, there has been some ways it's helped us. The big message that we're walking away from is it's time to start. It's time to start offering our talents and our gifts, step into who we truly are. Even if we're feeling a little bit inexperienced, just start your path. It's that simple. And so I could go on and on about this message, but I'm really excited to get you your personal message. So comment what you think about this down below. Share what you learned in 2020, and I'm going to get into your personal part of the message. So in order to get your personal reading, you have 3 options today, okay? You can choose number 1, the rose quartz. Number 2, the amethyst crystal. Or number 3, the snowflake obsidian. Once you have chosen, head down below to the comments or the description where the timestamps are posted, so you can just click on that timestamp and instantly be fast forwarded to your part in the reading. And I will see you soon. For those of you who choose number 1, let's go ahead and draw your cards. What do you need to take away from 2020? Any messages for you as we wrap up this year and head into a new one? What the heck? Well, that is a very direct message. This is a really personal message. If you chose number 1, this seems like a very specific situation. If for some reason it doesn't resonate, I would highly suggest pick number 2 or 3 instead. I feel like there's a group of people who really need to hear this. Wow. Okay, so first of all, look at these messages. Relax, overcome anxious confusion. And so that's what you learned how to do this year. In the midst of the storm, you learned how to be calm. You learned how to be centered. you overcame a lot of anxiety. Maybe some of this anxiety you had before 2020. Perhaps you've been dealing with this for a while, and 2020 put it on blast. Because a lot of times our anxiety is basically it's like a fear of the future, or it's worry about the past. And so when we're put into a traumatic situation like we were in 2020, of course our anxiety is going to go off the wall. And people who don't have anxiety probably had it this year. But for you, this was a really, really big challenge. And then this is also, like, I love this, anxious confusion. Events like this year sometimes can get you out of touch with your center. So it can be difficult to make decisions. It can be difficult to, know what your next move is, come up with ideas, tap into your creativity. So I feel like you went through a breakdown this year and eventually just kind of gave up and was just like, you know what, F it. I'm just gonna chill. I'm gonna stop worrying. I don't care if everything goes to hell in a handbasket. I'm over it. And ironically, that breakdown was exactly what you needed. You needed to realize that sometimes good things can happen in your life, or problems can be solved without your interference. There's this, it's over here. I'm bringing in another deck. But there's this card in this deck that I actually want to read to you. I'm going to come back in a second and try to find it, but it just came to my mind. It's a card I've been drawing a lot for myself recently. I feel like this is your message. Okay, you guys, this happened off camera, but I had no idea what card I was looking for, and I just flipped the deck open to this page, and it's the exact card that I wanted to read to you. So, what the heck? The tarot can be so creepy sometimes. Okay, so this is what I'm talking about here, okay? The fear of not getting enough if you don't put in constant effort can finally dissolve. You realize that the most important things in life arrive on their own accord, not because you earned them. Let your heart lead you to the people and circumstances you need to continue growing gently and easily. Like, this is your message for 2020 for sure. I cheated because I wasn't supposed to use another deck, but look. The most important things in life arrive on their own accord. The fear of not getting enough if you don't put in constant effort can finally dissolve. So sometimes when you just step back and you focus on your self-care, like, good things can happen. Like, the best things can happen. You don't always have to be pushing things forward at all times. And so you're learning how important breathing is to manifest. Like, I think of breathing as creating space. Like, I love how you, when you're breathing, you're inhaling, you're receiving, then you exhale and you're giving. And what's crazy is when you exhale, you're literally giving to this earth. You're literally giving to the plants. How crazy is that? So yeah, you're just by being here on this planet, you're contributing. Just by being in your unique energy, you're helping, you're raising the vibration. So sometimes just being you is enough. Okay, it's all about balance. You can't just do nothing all the time. But some of you guys are like, those of you guys who chose this, you're hard workers and you push and it's like this year you learn, like, sometimes you just need to kick your feet up and just like go with the flow and see what happens. So you learned that. You've done such a great job. Now over here, what's going on with this? Secretive text, and then this grieving message came over here. This part of the message is just for a couple of you guys. Ignore it if it doesn't resonate. We'll move on over to this in a second, okay? There might be a couple of you guys here that this came out for. Maybe there's somebody that you have been, secretly texting, or maybe you're in a relationship, or you're seeing a couple different people, or you're like talking to your ex again. Maybe this is something, or you met someone online. Maybe it's something you don't like really tell people about, but maybe there's a third party situation. I'm not sure, but it kind of feels naughty, almost like, oh, I shouldn't be doing this. And I feel like something in that relationship or situation has fallen apart. Like, you're grieving these, like, someone has sent you messages that you're grieving over, or you've sent some messages out. Maybe you tried to reach out to like your ex or something because you were thinking of them because of everything that happened this year and like you got ghosted. Or maybe someone from your past reached out to you and you've been talking to them. Or perhaps you are married and you met somebody online and you've been like, this person's been helping you through this time, and or maybe you're the other person, you know, the other woman, the other man, who knows? Something, you kind of get what I'm saying here? There's like something going on and you've been grieving through this process. And so I feel like the message is like, look, this situation is changing. This actually had a lot to do with 2020 for you. It could have been something that seemed very small, but it caused a lot of grieving or brought some things up from the past, or it triggered you. And your guides are saying that they're sympathetic to you, like this situation is changing. Maybe that's just a message they wanted to get through to you in this reading as well. But for those of you guys that does not resonate with and you're like, I have no idea what that's about, we'll just put that to the side and just kind of go back to this over here. This is what you learned. No matter what happens now, you have made it through some crazy stuff. Like, I'll tell you guys, a couple years ago, maybe like 4 or 5 years ago, I went through like the craziest time of my life, and I just know nothing like that's ever gonna happen again, and like I'm good to go. So this pandemic for me was really difficult, but I was like, it's freaking cakewalk compared to what I've been through in the past. Maybe that's what this year's gonna be for you, is like, you know what? I'm good to go now. Like I pretty much made it through everything. The worst that could have possibly happened. And now I know that I have nothing to fear because like I'm good. I made it through that, so I can make it through anything. So your guides are sympathetic to you. Things are changing. I think this is a positive message that things are changing for the better. It might not look at it, but sometimes old crops have to be burned to make way for new growth. Sometimes the system's got to crumble and fall in order for a revolution to happen and good things to come about. So yeah, let me know what you think about that message, and I will see you next time. Peace out. For those of you who choose number 2, let's go ahead and get your message. What is your main message from 2020? What did you learn this year? What is your takeaway from 2020? They're telling me there's a couple more cards. Okay. So 2020 was a huge year of awakening for you. Perhaps you've like already been going through an awakening process. Maybe this year's like what really brought it about, but I feel like this might have been your dark night of the soul. Like 2020 was like the next stage in your spiritual awakening process, your dark night of the soul. So this is confirmation. If you're like, am I going through awakening? What's happening? Call it an awakening, call it a quarter life crisis or midlife crisis or mental breakdown, whatever you want to call it. I like awakening because it seems a little bit more fun. But yeah, basically this year is the year that you kind of found a new direction in your life. And I just like find new, that's cool. Find a new direction. That's what I'm thinking. Finding something new to build in your life. Oftentimes when you have an awakening, it's this realization. It could be brought about by some type of trauma, world events, for instance. A breakup, a loss, something like that, an accident, tragedy. But it's something that changes you, and afterwards you connect to this world like differently. You see things differently. Your eyes have been opened, like you've been awakened. And so you usually realize, wow, I'm not in alignment anymore with everything in my life. Like the things that I've chosen, the people I'm with, this path I'm on, this all needs to go. And so that's why awakening can be, it's called an awakening because it's literally like you wake up and it's very, very sudden. It's just very sudden. And so you want these changes, you want something new in your life, and it can be a bit of a feeling of disillusionment And there is a period of like depression or sadness that you go through as you start to, like, the old you isn't really who you are anymore, but you haven't really found the new you yet. So there's like this loss of identity that happens. And so I feel like 2020 was that for you, kind of the loss of identity, and you having this time to really go inside and ask yourself, what do I want? Who am I? You know? And so this was an opportunity for you. 2020 is the year that you found a new focus in your life. And it's the year that you started to really build your fortune. Because even though this was a year that maybe some people struggled in financially, you saw the opportunity in it. And you're like, I know I want to build my fortune. And fortune isn't always financial. I think fortune is like another word for abundance. Like being fortunate. It's an energy of happiness and bliss, contentment. And so I feel like there was a lot of focus for you this year on your material world and what it is you want to create in that level, like having your foundation really strong and realizing that you are worthy of taking very good care of yourself and having wealth in this life. And I feel like that was something you realized, I want a new way to build my fortune. So maybe this is you realizing you have a new passion, a new talent, a new project, or taking something to the next level in this area. It's a year that you learn to trust your instincts. You really were like, I'm going to trust myself. I'm going to follow my path. I just see you keeping your head down and working hard this year, like in 2020. Even though everything was going crazy around you, you buried yourself into your work. So yeah, something new that you're building for your fortune, trusting your instincts. The next thing I think you learned this year is that you're a really friendly person. However, you're realizing how important it is to keep things private. So there might have been some people pulling up on you, wanting to know things about your life, wanting to ask you questions, wanting to dump things on you. And I think this year you really kept things to yourself. And it doesn't mean you're not friendly. It doesn't mean that you're not capable of having wonderful friendships. It's just you're at a time in your life where you're hustling and you want to keep things private. And I think you're realizing how important that is, not to show everyone your moves, not to tell everybody what you're all about, to keep your head down so nobody tries to, get in the way. You learn to be a little bit more impulsive this year. Because you seem to be somebody who's a little bit more methodical. But you're learning more to trust your instincts. You're learning a little bit more about connecting with your intuition, your intuitive side, even a little bit your emotional side. To realize that can aid you in making very logical decisions that will work out well for you. So you're learning to follow that side of yourself, following your instincts, listening to your inner self. This is also interesting. Some of you guys have been still or were in 2020 staying in a situation out of desperation. So this could have been you staying in a job, in a relationship, in a specific place, maybe even a mental space, staying somewhere out of desperation. And so you're learning that you got to let some things go. Learning to depend on yourself. Learning how important independence is. And maybe this is a goal you've set. I'm not going to stay in this situation out of desperation. As I move forward into 2021, I'm letting this situation go. I'm going to get my way out of this. Some of you guys might have gotten your way out of that in 2020. So congratulations to those of you guys. Basically, blessings just lie ahead of you. Like, I kind of see this as a message of, like, you owned it. Maybe you don't feel like that. You might look back on this year and think you were kind of a mess, but you owned it. So, props to you. Blessings are coming in. So I hope that this message resonates with you. Thank you again for coming to my channel, and I will see you next time. Peace out. For those of you guys who choose number 3, let's go ahead and get your message. What did you learn from 2020? What are you taking away from it as you head into the new year? What do you need to know? A message specifically for you. Okay, this is an epic message. So first of all, look at this. Environment move. Maybe this is the year that some of you guys got like sick of where you were living, or perhaps where you were working, the situation you were in, and you decided, you know what, I'm moving. I'm done with this. I'm ready to move to that new home, to that new apartment, to that new job, out of the situation I'm in and into something else, or I'm ready to be independent and live on my own. Some of you guys might have been quarantined with your family or with people that just you really did not want to be quarantined with, and maybe like crap went down and you're like, I'm done. This is the last straw. I see that. I've heard some of you all's stories about who you ended up quarantining with, and I'm just like, oh God, that sucks so much. Like, man, your environment move. Some of you guys in 2020 realized in order for me to be in my power and make things happen in my life and move towards my goals, and in order to protect my peace, I need to be in a better environment. For some of you guys, this might have been like metaphorically making a move. Like maybe you got rid of some old stuff, you cleaned out your home, maybe you kind of redesigned, redecorated, or just did some feng shui stuff around your house and moved things around, and you're realizing the blessing it is to have a roof over your head, to have food on your table. Like maybe this was a year of gratitude for the space that you're in, loving it, preserving it, protecting it, creating sacred space. So I see those of you guys who were on that vibe, but some of you all moved, or this is like your plan, your realization, I need to make this happen. You realize this year how much potential you really do have, how much potential you have. And I love this word potential. You see this word here, potent. Like it's your ability to make a powerful impact on this world. And so this is a year that you might have gotten in touch with some really big dreams, maybe dreams you forgot about, or bigger dreams than you've ever had before. And so it's kind of exciting because it's giving you a passion, a bounce in your step, something to live for. And so this is a year that you came up with some kind of bright idea, and I'm seeing this message like move forward with that, move forward with your potential. Next, maybe you got really connected with your health this year. I love seeing all those videos on YouTube of all the people who went on like a health journey and used this time inside that they would have never had otherwise to get their body in shape, to eat healthy, to exercise. Maybe some of you guys made really unhealthy choices. I definitely did that I had a phase of doing that during lockdown for sure. And so I feel like maybe some of you guys realize that your health is important, because if you're inside, you're indoors so long, you're social distancing, like you got to take care of your body. Like your body is your vessel. It's your sacred vessel that carries down your beautiful energy into the 3D. And so maybe this is a year you want on a health journey, or you're realizing I need to take better care of myself. Also, health is also mental health. And so perhaps some of you guys, were reading books about mental health, or really working on your subconscious, clearing energy from the past, having time to yourself. I talked about this more in depth in the intro message. If you didn't listen to that, maybe go back and listen. But I definitely see that's something that you did. Like your health is so much better now as you're entering into 2021. Like I see you shining, I see you beautiful, I see you glowing inside and out. And that's wonderful. Then this unrequited card came out. Maybe some of you guys like let go of somebody romantically this year. Perhaps you realized, you know what, I'm over it. I'm ready to let go of this person. I just don't feel the same about them like I used to. Or perhaps you realize that's how they feel about you, or it's like a mutual thing. But it seems like some of you guys, this is like a letdown, but you don't need distractions right now. And so because there's a lot going on, look at this. Advancement, public, lead, discreet. This is the energy you were in as you entered into 2020. Feeling like you just kind of wanted to hide. It's okay. I go through phases like that too, even though I'm like a loud Aquarius. You just were like, I just kind of want to be more discreet, fly under the radar. But for you, in order to advance career-wise and with some of your goals, you're realizing you need to step into a leadership role and maybe get out in the public. So I wonder how many of you guys decided to maybe start your YouTube channel or launch your Etsy shop or start that charity organization this year. It just really makes me wonder how many of you guys decided, I'm ready to stop hiding, and everyone else is doing it. I might as well just get out and do what I love and make this happen. I really loved seeing so many people being creative this year and launching businesses. Even in the middle of all this, sounds like the craziest time to do it, but some people just realize, I have nothing to lose, let's make this happen. Those of you guys who were like selling masks and offering services to people online, things like that, I think that's so cool. And so maybe you're one of those people, or you came up with an idea like that and you're realizing, you know what, this is the last time I'm ever going to be like this. I'm ready to go out and lead and be who I am. This is the planets. Makes me wonder if some of you guys got really into astrology and tarot this year. Maybe like you were looking for some certainty. Maybe you learned some things about yourself. Maybe through exploring your chart or learning more about the tarot. You know, this is all just an extension of you. And so you're learning more about what's going on inside. Having something to kind of bounce like ideas off of, like the tarot, or having, you know, looking into the planets and how those energy cycles guide us can be so fascinating. And so this is saying that I feel like this is a message that to not overlook the astrology of 2020, because it's really fascinating when you go back and you look at exactly what was happening in the planets and these eclipses we just had and this great conjunction. This has been a very interesting time, and there is a rhyme or reason to it when you compare that to astrology and what's going on in the planets. This inside card, literally you were inside this year. So this is like a little joke coming out to you from your guides, but it's also a message of you're learning that this isn't such a bad thing. As far as going inside of yourself, I'm talking like in meditation, in, you know, feeling your emotions, letting that side of yourself out. I feel like this has helped you tap more into your creativity, and you've learned how maybe you really needed this. Some of you guys actually really needed this year, really needed to be inside, really needed to take a break, really needed to rest and be forced to do it, you know? So your last message is choose now. I feel like this is a little bonus message. Nobody else got this one, just those of you guys who choose number 3. What is it you need to choose? That's your question as you walk away from this reading. They want you to choose now. Perhaps it's choose a path forward. Time to make a decision. I hope that this message resonates with you. Thank you guys so much for your support. I am so excited that 2020 is over. I feel like this is definitely going to be a year that I remember. Let me know what you think in the comments below, all right? And I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.